Hi, my name is Lars Cromley, Director of Engineering at Second Watch. What I want to talk to you about today is dispelling the myths about DevOps, what it is, where it came from, what it's not, and more importantly, how Second Watch can help you with this. So let's go back to 2007. Lean manufacturing ideas were making their transition into IT, and traditional waterfall methods of application development were giving way to rapid iterative methods such as Agile. Velocity was the primary focus, and quality occasionally suffered in the short term. And similarly, on the operations and infrastructure side of the business, infrastructure as a service and platforms as a service operations were coming into their own as mature service offerings. Fast forward to 2008, the Agile conference in Toronto takes place, and Andrew Schaefer had posted an offer to moderate a discussion around the topic of Agile infrastructure. A single person showed up. It was not a huge success, but that person was Patrick Dubois. Patrick had been working on a very difficult engagement that highlighted the walls of separation and lack of cohesion between application and infrastructure methods. Both saw the need to release faster. Demands from customers and the business to release software more frequently. So going into 2009, we saw the presentation 10 plus deploys per day, Dev and Ops cooperating at Flickr by John Allspaw and Paul Hammond. Shortly after, Dubois formed his own conference called DevOps Days in Ghent, Belgium, and that is the point at which the term DevOps really took off. So what is DevOps? Well, rather than jumping into what DevOps is, it might be easier to first highlight what it's not. So DevOps is not a team or a job title. It's not simply automation. It's not a tool or the tools you use. It's not a person. While automating and writing code might be a part of DevOps, they do not define it. DevOps has been described by Gartner as a set of practices intended to reduce the time between committing a change to a system and the change being placed into normal production while ensuring high quality. At Second Watch, we define it a little differently. We define DevOps as the application of Agile and Lean principles to software development and infrastructure management. In even simpler terms, DevOps is a cultural change. The benefits are numerous, and they include increased quality, faster time to market, more reliable releases, increased customer satisfaction, increased efficiencies, and improved productivity. So why would a company not want to do this? Well, here's the hard truth. There's no single approach to creating this type of culture. Everyone's journey looks a little different. We can create small cross-functional teams that control all aspects of delivery internally. We can create a team of people that work on both software and infrastructure. This would be something like site reliability engineering at Google. Essentially, the one underlying truth is that you have to give autonomy to your people and trust that they're going to do the right thing. After all, you've hired smart people to do these jobs. Let the smart people think their way through these problems. So as managers, what this really means is that it's more leading and less managing, providing goals and the motivation to meet them. Invest in your people by allowing them to experiment and enrich themselves. You develop a vision forward, keep people focused, and encourage integrity and honesty. Find ways to serve your team by helping them remove roadblocks in delivery that is outside of their control. Implementation is generally the next question, undoubtedly. Where do I start? So many people start trying to do too much, too soon. A big bang approach, if you will. We're going to do the DevOps, is what they say. And your leadership team begins wearing their underwear over their pants, dons capes. I've seen it 1,000 times. The results they're looking for will not come immediately. And if you try to do this across the entire organization all at once, you will most likely burn out. When people do this type of approach, they typically create some type of maturity model. Now, Nicole Forsgren of DORA, which stands for DevOps Research and Assessment, says maturity models are for chumps. And I tend to agree. The idea of a maturity model is that at some point you reach peak maturity. The idea is counterintuitive to exactly what we're talking about, to continuous improvement. This is stifling. When you're in a maturity model, and that is how you report progress to your executives, to your peers, to your employees, what happens when you're at the top rung? How do you make the case for further improvement? Instead, we can work on a smaller scale, find a workload, an application, have the team take control of all aspects of that workload. Once one team is successful, attempt to replicate that success. The second team might not look entirely like the first, and that's okay. Instead, work on a smaller scale. Find a workload or application, have the team take control of all aspects of that workload. And once that team is successful, attempt to replicate that success. Now, the second team might not look entirely like the first, and that's okay. What we'll be looking at are outcomes, and those outcomes are specific. Decreased deployment lead time and mean time to recovery, increased change success rate, and deployment frequency. If they're hitting the marks in these areas, let them do the work the way the team believes best. The hardest part about DevOps is that it requires change. Changing your organization, changing your culture, and that's very hard. The hardest part about it is that it has to happen from the inside. We can't make you change. Your leadership and your people have to want it, and they have to work at it, and it's very hard. So at Second Watch, what we want is to focus on the implementation and management of systems and tools so that you and your people can focus on what matters most, the hard part, the change. Once again, my name is Lars Cromley, Director of Engineering at Second Watch. Thank you for watching. Check us out at secondwatch.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.